with a splitting headache. What do? You walk to your medicine cabinet, pop a little white pill, and get on with your life. You don't think about it. It's just aspirin. But what if I told you that to cure that exact same headache 4,000 years ago, you wouldn't go to a pharmacy? You'd go to a swamp. And you'd start chewing on a tree. Long before we understood cellular inflammation, we were just biological test subjects eating random plants to see what didn't kill us. Around 3000 BCE, the Sumerians carved a very specific cheat code into their medical clay tablets, willow bark. The Egyptians backed them up, and the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates even prescribed willow bark tea for severe fevers. Here's the crazy part. They had no clue why it worked. They were just heavily dosing themselves with salicin, the great-grandfather of modern aspirin. Fast forward a couple of millennia to 1763. Enter Reverend Edward Stone, a clergyman with a very peculiar hobby, wandering the English countryside and tasting random trees. For science, he bit into a white willow, noticed it was aggressively bitter, and decided to test it on sick people. Without realizing it, a bored English reverend scientifically validated a 3,000-year-old Sumerian hack. But here is where the myth takes a turn. By the late 1800s, chemists figured out how to extract the pain-relieving compound, but it was brutal on the human digestive tract. Patients cured their headaches, but traded them for severe stomach cramps. Enter Felix Hoffmann in 1897, working for a German company called Bayer. He needed to find a gentler version of this drug, but here is the secret. He didn't use willow bark. He derived the new chemical from a completely different plant, a flower called meadowsweet. That is actually where the spur in aspirin comes from. It's named after meadowsweet's botanical name, Spirea. The willow bark origin is true, but the pill in your cabinet is basically a flower derivative, and it almost never saw the light of day. Why? Because on the exact same day Hoffmann synthesized aspirin, he synthesized another drug. The pharmacology team at Bayer actually thought aspirin was useless. They told him to put the headache pill on the back burner so they could focus on their real moneymaker, which they aggressively marketed as a cough suppressant. That drug? Heroin. Eventually, the higher-ups realized aspirin was a masterpiece of modern chemistry. It was cheap to produce, incredibly effective, and became one of the first mass-market, commercially synthesized drugs in human history. People took it for 70 years before scientists in the 1970s finally figured out how it worked, realizing it actually blocked the enzymes in your body that transmit pain signals and regulate inflammation. It even acted as a mild blood thinner, becoming a frontline defense against heart attacks. A 4,000-year-old remedy, perfected in a lab, saving millions of lives today. If you want more deep dives into the medical myths and wild history behind the everyday remedies we take for granted, hit subscribe to weTheJustOneMore. And hey, if the corporate drama and marketing genius of how a company accidentally created a blockbuster drug fascinates you, we actually do deep dive business analyses over on our other channel, the Meta Layer A. Or, if you're just fascinated by how things are manufactured layer by layer, check out what we are building over at Grounded Layer. Links to the whole network are in the description. Tell me in the comments, what bizarre ancient remedy should we investigate next?